there's something called mortification. We're not talking about some kind of monkery asceticism. We're talking about Romans 8:13, Colossians 1, actually chapter 3, verses 3 to 5, actually. You died, and in your mikvah you were given a mikvah into his death. You're the ganef on the tree. Remember, his thieving hands couldn't be involved in kleptomania anymore because they had been put to death with Moshiach. And when he made teshuvah and repented and was regenerated, Moshiach said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Now, a lot of people want to have a head knowledge of God and a superficial lip service new birth. But as far as old sin, Agog, you remember Saul, the king, he was told he had to put that old Amalekite to death. And the old Amalekite said, surely the bitterness of death, surely I've been spared from the bitterness of death. But those sins that are plaguing you, some of them may be like Agag, who thought surely the Mar Hamavet has passed. And they may think, we can continue to operate in this body. All of us demonic, evil sins, we can continue to do it. But there's a word in Romans 8:13. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. In other words, if you're satisfying your flesh, if you're living for the flesh, if you're in the flesh, if you're Barabbas, if you think that you can avoid that tree and go on with your wicked fleshy life, you're going to die. Barabbas died. But if through the Ruach HaKodesh, now it doesn't say if through flagellation, if through monkery, if through asceticism, if through all of these things, you mortify the deeds. It doesn't say that. It says if through the Ruach HaKodesh. This is why I'm a Pentecostal. Sometimes I have to pray in tongues for hours just to get all the monkeys off my back and wait out the devil till he leaves me. Because there's this thing called the sinful nature, the teva hachote, the sinful nature. If you, through the Spirit, do mortify the deeds of the sinful nature, you will live. We're talking about chaye olam. This is your duty. This is your duty. It's called mortification. You say, where is that found in the Bible? It's found in Romans 8:13, Colossians 3 to 5. And also it's implied in John chapter 3, verse 3, where Yeshua says you must be born again. You can't be born again unless the old man, the inner man, is dead. You have died, and your life is hidden with Moshiach. So, killing and putting on the tree, this is your job. This is your duty. Don't tell me about your unsafe boyfriend. You have to call him up and say, I'm sorry, I can't go on with this. You're a Delilah temptation, and I'm Samson. And one way or the other, this thing is going to cost me my eyes or something because I can't look on evil. I've got to turn away. I'm sorry. And you have to break it off. You say, but that's hard. Nobody said that getting hung on a tree was easy, friend. But if you want to live, this is what you got to do. You have to put to death the deeds of the flesh. And this is something that has to be done over and over again. Because when you had your mikvah, you went under. Now, when you go under, you got to hold your breath. And when you're holding your breath, it's like you're dead. And when it's like you're dead, It's like a mortification. And don't you know that when you can't go on with these sins, that you're trying to have it both ways with your unsaved boyfriend and with the Lord. You come into the Lord's house and play one game, and then you go back with your unsaved boyfriend and play another game. You can't do that. You have to, listen, shall we continue to sin with our unsaved boyfriend so that grace will abound? God forbid. No. Don't you know that when you took the mikvamayim, you took that mikvamayim into his death? Don't look at the ganaf on the tree. He's experiencing death with Moshiach. The old thieving hands are dying now. They're being put to death. He can't steal anymore. The old ganaf is dead. It's not I who live, but Moshiach who lives in me. And the life I live by faith in the Sohn von der Eibishter who loved me and gave himself for me. So that old life, that's not me anymore. I'm not Saul the persecutor anymore. I'm Rav Shaul Paulos the apostle, and I'm a new creature. And you cannot allow sin to dominate you. You have to hate evil. And the problem that we have now is we have these laid-back, pleasure-loving pseudo-believers who are really kind of having it both ways, they think. But friend, there's no true contentment in sin. There's no true pleasure in sin. Sin is what put Moshiach on the tree in the first place. So you have to avoid all the inducements and occasions of it. You've got to hate it and be done with it. And this is the proper work of the Ruach HaKodesh. So more of the Ruach HaKodesh and less of the flesh. The thief has entered into his death, and that's what you have to do. Romans chapter 6, verse 3. Don't you know your mikvamayim was into his death? The old ganaf is not living. He's been put to death. There's a new creature who's there, who's going to Gan Eden with Moshiach. That has to be you. Let me ask you this, quite frankly. Do you want to go where the ganaf went? Do you? Do you really want to go where the ganaf went? Then keep your thieving hands put to death. That whatever these hands want to do that's sinful, if they want to go to a one-armed bandit at Las Vegas and play the slot machine, no, they have to be put to death. If they want to do something sexually immoral, no, they have to be put to death. If they want to make an obscene gesture, no. If they want to steal, no. If they want to do any kind of wickedness, no. Your hands, your feet, your flesh, your body has to be hanged on the tree with Moshiach. And that's what you're getting yourself in for when you take the mikvah. It's a self-execution. We're talking about the inner man is executed, and a new man is raised. And that new man is the regenerated you. And the regenerated you, by the power of the Holy Spirit, has this ability and this power through the Ruach HaKodesh to put to death the deeds of the sinful nature. The Teva